Hello guys. A couple of things I wish I knew when I started playing SimCity 4. Just a quick list. I wish I understood growth stages and the RCI, traffic, different building stages or different building styles, and then that there are different ways to play the game. You don't have to play it in the absolute purest version. So, okay, I'm gonna go through each one of those in detail. I'm an absolute beginner and noob. We're gonna start a new city. So the different growth stages, basically your population determines what types of buildings you can get. As you get higher up, like maybe you move from 10,000 to 20 to 50,000 to over 100,000 residents in your city. So the types of buildings and you also start unlocking some more gifts. So those are the different growth stages. The game typically runs from stage 1 to stage 8. Okay, so then the next thing is going to be traffic. I really undermined how much traffic is a key part of strategy of playing this game, so it's part of the challenge. I didn't even understand the difference between a road, let's say this road here, and a street. That's how sort of beginner raw I was. Effectively, you need the more traffic a road can handle. That helps you out much later in the game. So this road, then you can get different modes of transport, train and subways. But just in the most bare version, or the most sort of the basics that you're going to need, you're only going to need a road, an avenue, and then you're definitely going to need a bus station and a subway. Right, so moving on. Okay, so this is adding on to the traffic. This game was made in 2003, so you know, I mean, that's a long time ago by now. There are different mods online. Like a mod is a plugin you can add to enhance the game. So the NAM mod is the most important one, which basically enhances the traffic, the built-in traffic simulator of this game. The installation is quite large. It's about 1.5 gigs, 1.5 gigs. It gives you more options. It basically, okay, so now traffic simulation will be somewhere here. If you go to this data grid here and then typically check the traffic. So if once you start playing this game and log into it, you're gonna start getting problems with high congestion. So the NAM mod is really gonna help with that. And then to the next item, the taxes in this game. As a beginner, I wish I understood. Could strategically use tax, just like in the real world. I mean, if you want to stimulate growth, you've got to drop your taxes, and then if you want to drive out some behavior or control other industries, you just raise the taxes. So typically you would have, let's say you've got, okay, also the game, the main part of this game is to manage obviously your budget, to have a profit, month end cash to always be positive. So if you want to stimulate growth, there's nothing wrong with dropping taxes to zero. Everything zero. The maximum tax rate in this game is about 20%. Just gonna ignore agriculture for now, so we're gonna maybe not want farming in our city. We're gonna max out the tax rate to 20%. And then the most important industries here are data industry, and the preferable one is high tech. So these things have actually got a meaning. It's industry, agriculture industry, manufacturing industry, high tech. It's got the least amount of pollution. This has got the most amount of pollution if we're ignoring agriculture. So you would typically want to tax out your dirty industry. And then also on your monthly budget, as you're progressing in the game and then you're getting more cash, it's typically a good idea to control your your buildings from this global setting. So for example, if I have a hospital, I have got a hospital over here. So I've got a hospital. I can control the budget for this specific hospital. But then once my city starts getting quite large, and I've got like maybe 10 of these things, it's gonna be ideal to just manually or globally change the budget this side. What I typically do in my game, I just quickly check all of these on. Typically because I'm playing the game using unlimited cash or cheating. Okay. Which then moves on to the next thing in the game, which is there are different types of buildings. Okay, so if you were to click this thing that's got a hammer here, by default it will give you building styles that are changing. So you typically would want to manually control these things. There's an error right here. It's actually quite hidden, so I'm gonna start again. So this little thing here, you're gonna select build all styles at once. This up arrow over here. All the different architectures are checked in. If you want the highest density buildings, Houston 1990 has got them. It kind of makes sense. I mean, a building from 1980 isn't going to have like 5 or 15 stories. So for the highest density, just only check the Houston. Okay, moving on. Okay, this is kind of like a final point, like towards just there are different ways to play this game. I mean, you could. The strategy of this game is to it's just basically about managing cash flow. Like every month you have to build a whole lot of different buildings, like a police station. It costs money. There's a monthly cost to running this thing. All of them have got a monthly cost. Even like the cheapest one, which is like a park, there's a monthly cost to running everything, and then you've also got to bring in profit via different industries. Okay, so that's the first thing to like just balance your books. And then the other big thing is to just you have to manage your demand. Okay, this is me cheating the game because I've got an artificial mod. It's like propping up the demand for everything. It's not organic. Okay, so I'm basically cheating this right now. Okay, so there are different ways to play. I mean, you could play it in the sort of the absolute purest version where you're not doing anything. You're not sort of giving yourself unlimited cash, and you're not doing mods with this thing is called an RCI, residential, commercial, and industrial. Okay, and then the final thing is there are limits to how many people or how big your population can reach, depending on how you play the game. So, let's say you're playing it in a clean way. If you're a beginner, you should expect about 200,000 people. So your population will be about 200,000. If you are cheating using mods, I think you can get away with about over 1 million. So that's the one thing that I didn't really understand initially. I would create a city and then I would only be capped out at about 150, and I wouldn't understand why, because I've seen other videos online where people are doing like 3 million. But that's because they're only building like one zone, which is like a residential, and they've given themselves like unlimited cash. They've done things like have an artificial demand. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, just that list again. So different growth stages, stage 1 to 8. Traffic is actually quite a big thing. You can use the NAM mod. That NAM mod is going to slow down the loading times of each city. It's about 5 minutes to load. You've got the NAM mod. And then the different building styles. If you want the high density, you can just only check this Houston. And then you don't have to, especially if you're a beginner, you don't have to be stuck in playing this game like just in the purest version um, you can actually give yourself some leeway and then cheat a little bit. Let's say you want to see what all the buildings look like as an example. Okay, so in this one, this isn't like an outright cheat. I've given myself like as much money as I need, and I would actually right. So you can also just unlock all the gifts. Okay, so I think you've unlocked everything. If playing organically, these would be unlocked by your population growth, so different stages. Let's see, the most expensive item here would be a space station. At price, we can put it maybe here. Okay, let's actually zone some residentials. Okay, so we're gonna hold down the shift key, right? So if you were to hold Control and G, I think it's okay. Just do this quickly. Right, just pressing G would show you each one of these things, which is called a tile. So let's quickly zone a residential using our one style only, Houston. We're only gonna have Houston. Let's zone a couple of them. Pressing down the shift key, hold. Let's fast forward. Get some growth. Quite quickly. Alright, I think that's it. Thanks guys.